For over 2,000 years, the word Atlantis has meant one thing: a perfect world swallowed by the sea. But where did the story actually come from? What evidence do we have? And why do so many places claim the title? Here is a clear, long-form guide to Atlantis: what the ancient source says, what science says, and what really lies beneath the waves. Number 5. The only ancient source that matters. Plato. Everything starts with two dialogues written by the Greek philosopher Plato around 360 BCE, Timaeus and Critias. In them, an Egyptian priest tells the lawmaker Solon about a powerful island civilization beyond the Pillars of Heracles, the Strait of Gibraltar. Its capital is described as concentric rings of land and water, rich in metals like orichalcum, with canals, temples to Poseidon, and a navy that conquered far and wide. Then, in one day and night of misfortune, earthquakes and floods destroy it, and the island sinks. Plato dates the story to about 9,000 years before Solon, a timeline that puts Atlantis around 9600 BCE, far earlier than any known complex civilization. Crucially, Plato uses Atlantis to make a moral point about pride and decline. Most classicists read it as philosophical allegory, not journalism. But because the tale is vivid and oddly specific, many have hunted for a real place behind the metaphor. Ma 4. The best real-world inspirations: eruptions, tsunamis, and drowned coasts. If Atlantis has a kernel of truth, it likely comes from dramatic events the Greeks knew about. The Thera, Santorini, eruption around 1600 BCE exploded a Bronze Age island, buried the town of Akrotiri in ash, and sent tsunamis toward Crete, shocking the Minoan world. That looks a lot like a rich island undone by the sea. Nearer in time to Plato, the Greek city of Helike sank after an earthquake in 373 BCE. Fishermen later reported ruins visible underwater. Add to this the fact that since the last ice age, global sea level has climbed by about 120 meters, drowning ancient shorelines. We now know of real sunken cities: Pavlopetri in Greece, Thonis Heraklion and Canopus off Egypt, and others. None match Plato's rings, but they show how easily prosperous ports can vanish and become legend. Number 3. The map of claims. Where people put Atlantis, and why it's tricky, because Plato says, beyond the Pillars of Heracles, many look to the Atlantic. Popular candidates include south of Spain, Doñana marshes, satellite hints of geometric features. Supporters imagine an empire on Iberia's Atlantic plains, later wrecked by floods. Critics note the features are marsh patterns and Roman medieval remains, not Bronze Age ring canals. Azores, Madeira, Canaries, mid-Atlantic islands that feel romantic and remote. Geology shows they are volcanic peaks, not a sunken continent. Caribbean, Bimini, Road. Blocky natural beach rock mistaken for man-made pavement. Attractive to the imagination, stubbornly natural on inspection. Antarctica, a modern fringe idea that ignores ice core and plate tectonic timelines. The Eye of the Sahara, Rishat structure, Mauritania, a stunning set of concentric rock domes in the desert. It looks like Plato's rings from above, but the geology is wrong. An eroded uplift on land, not a sunken harbor. And it's thousands of kilometers from the sea in Plato's story. Finally, the Aegean Santorini theory says Plato blended the Minoan disaster with Egyptian tales, moved it beyond the pillars for drama, and stretched the timeline by mixing Egyptian and Greek numbers. This doesn't match every detail, but it matches the type of catastrophe the story describes. Number 2. What science would need to confirm a real Atlantis? A historical Atlantis would leave layered evidence. Archaeology. Ruins with a consistent culture. Tools, pottery styles, writing, standard weights, and a clear timeline. Urban layout. Harbors, canals, and defenses that match Plato's ring city description, not just any circles in stone. Geology. Proof of sudden subsidence, ground sinking, quake damage, tsunami deposits, and drowned shorelines dating to the right era. Trade network. Traces of exchange, metals, ceramics. linking the site with the Mediterranean world. Texts, independent references from neighbors. Right now, we have pieces of this puzzle scattered across different places and times, but no single site that fits them all. That's why most researchers say, beautiful story, powerful warning, not a confirmed lost supercivilization. 101. Why Atlantis refuses to die. What the myth gives us. Atlantis is a perfect story engine, a golden age, a hubris fall, and a world-ending flood. It speaks to our fears, climate, quakes, rising seas, and our hopes, lost knowledge, second chances. It also travels well. Empires and explorers from Rome to the Victorians to the internet age have projected their own dreams onto it. Some saw proof of ancient wisdom, others an excuse for pseudo-archaeology that erases the real achievements of known cultures. The risk is simple. When we chase mirages, we miss the very real wonders already found. What we can say with confidence. Plato wrote the only detailed ancient account. He used Atlantis as a moral parable. The Mediterranean and Atlantic coasts hold real sunken towns and tsunami layers that show how fast seas can rewrite maps. The Minoan eruption and other disasters are strong candidates for the story's backbone. The famous modern sites either don't fit Plato's geography, don't fit the geology, or lack the cultural signature of a single advanced empire. The deeper, truer mystery. The world has lost more shorelines than we've explored. Continental shelves, now 50 to 120 meters underwater, were once crowded coastlands. As technology improves, seafloor mapping, submersibles, sediment DNA, we are finding ports, quarries, roads, and shipwrecks that change history in quiet, careful ways. Atlantis may remain a story, but the real lost cities we are uncovering, brick by brick, tell us something more useful. Complex societies rise, trade, specialize, overreach, and face the sea's power. The warning Plato wanted still lands. And the search teaches a better habit than wishful thinking, evidence over echo. If you want a mental map, picture 3 circles. First circle, myth, Plato's crafted tale. Second circle, natural disasters, eruption, quake, tsunami, sea level rise. Third circle, archaeology, actual ruins we can date and hold. Where these circles overlap, you get the feel of Atlantis without forcing a single dot on the map to carry a legend. That overlap is real, testable, and already changing how we read the past.